We're going to go over the Cell Processes Study Guide. You should have been able to match terms to their definitions. So the first term was carbohydrate. It is an energy-rich organic compound, and some examples are sugars and starches. The second one was lipid. These are energy-rich fats, oils and waxes like earwax or skin oils. The next one was protein, which is made of smaller molecules called amino acids. One important one that we looked at was an enzyme, right? Your saliva to dissolve things. Nucleic acids. These contain cell instructions. Examples are DNA and RNA. And then there's diffusion, which is the process of molecules moving from a higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. And we talked about this, like if you baked a cake, you could smell the particles, right? So a higher concentration to a lower concentration. Okay. Oh, that was pretty. Let me move it up here. Osmosis is the diffusion of water molecules through a selectively permeable membrane. Remember, this only includes water. Selectively permeable. This was what we talked about when we talked about molecules going through things. Some can fit, some can't. Some substances can pass through the membrane and others can't, so it's selectively. Active transport is the movement of molecules through a membrane using energy, and engulfing was an example that we used. Passive transport is the movement of materials through a cell membrane without the use of energy. We used an example of this of a truck rolling down a ramp, okay, not having to use any energy, it's just going down a ramp. Photosynthesis, this is photosynthesis when you get carbon dioxide and water, and out comes a sugar, glucose, and oxygen. And for respiration, you have glucose and oxygen, you get carbon dioxide and water out. So always look at what you get out, okay? So for respiration, you always get carbon dioxide, and for photosynthesis, you get oxygen out, right? So look at what you get out. It will help you remember what goes in, what goes out when you breathe, okay? Because remember, you have respiration, and plants do photosynthesis. So we get oxygen from plants. We breathe out carbon dioxide. Photosynthesis is the process by which a cell captures energy from sunlight and uses it to make its own food. Chloroplast is an organelle that conducts photosynthesis with a green pigment and stores it in energy storage molecules called ATP stores. Should say stores, sorry. In an energy storage. So ATP is energy, remember, energy. Stomata are really, remember, those small openings in the undersides of leaves that can open and close to control the movement of carbon dioxide, water, and oxygen. And we looked at what those look like underneath the microscope. We looked at some cool pictures. Fermentation is energy-releasing process that does not require oxygen. So remember, lactic acid and alcoholic fermentation, both are types of fermentation. With lactic acid, remember with lactic acid, remember we squeezed our pen, and really slowly we removed our pencil or pen from our hand, and it was really slow because the lactic acid, our muscles, we are using more oxygen faster than our muscles could actually get oxygen. So we ended up getting energy to squeeze those from fermentation. You are supposed to, organelles that produce ATP through the process of respiration, which requires oxygen. This is mitochondria. Remember, mitochondria, mighty, they are muscles, they make lots of energy. This diagram is diffusion. You have a higher concentration moving to a lower concentration. This is the cycle between respiration and photosynthesis. Number 1 is the sun, 2 is the plant, 3 is photosynthesis, 4 was glucose and oxygen, and 5 was mitochondria. Should be able to recognize these fairly easily by the time you take the test. This section of an animal cell shows organelles responsible for cellular respiration, and you are supposed to fill in the blanks. Respiration needs oxygen and glucose in. Yeah, you have to have oxygen here and glucose here because glucose goes directly to the mitochondria, right? But this doesn't matter. Water or carbon dioxide, you could have water here and carbon dioxide here, and that would also be acceptable. This is photosynthesis, and so Carbon dioxide goes in, oxygen comes out, water comes up the stem, and glucose gets distributed to the body. So you couldn't really have any of these any different location. That was just it. All right, you guys, make sure you understand these. Go over them multiple times before you decide to take the test. If you have questions, please ask them now.